Imagine waking up to the sounds of Lake Washington lapping against the shore, to the wind blowing through the evergreen trees, and beautiful picturesque views of downtown Seattle or downtown Bellevue. This is the lifestyle that's possible in Mercer Island, one of Seattle's premier neighborhoods. Today on this video, we're going to be talking about the luxury that comes with a Mercer Island lifestyle. And if you are thinking about moving to Mercer Island, relocating there from out of state, or even moving up from within the city of Seattle or Bellevue or surrounding areas, you're going to want to stick around because Mercer Island is just a neighborhood that is not to be missed. If you're new to the Seattle area, welcome. My name is real estate agent Emily Cressey. I'm a broker here in the Seattle area, and the focus of this channel is really on helping you choose the right neighborhood for you to live in, especially if you're coming from out of state for a new job or something like that. It can be very frustrating. You don't really know where to start. You see the map, but it doesn't do anything for you because you don't have any points of reference. So what we do is to zoom in on different neighborhoods, talk about the pros and cons of living there, the cost of living in these areas, schools, commutes, everything that's important to you as you look to choose the neighborhood that you want to call home. Now, as we mentioned in the introduction, today we're going to be talking about Mercer Island, which is this little island here in the middle of Lake Washington. If you're new to the Seattle area, again, you'll find if we zoom in here, it's kind of like a Twin Cities effect where we have all this water all over the place that kind of divides things up and makes it, the real estate is scarce. We got some high prices, but what we've got here is Seattle, which is sandwiched between saltwater, Puget Sound, and freshwater, Lake Washington. And then on the east side of Seattle, we have Bellevue over here, which is where essentially most of our very most expensive real estate is. It's where Bill Gates' house is, those types of things. And that's limited because we have Lake Sammamish here. So everything is squeezed in, squeezed together. We get a lot of traffic coming down 405 and I-5, our major freeways. And right here in the middle is Mercer Island, which is just such a premium location, but because you have quick access, not as much traffic, not as much problem, just popping into downtown Seattle or popping in to downtown Bellevue, just right here and right here. So if you want a short commute, if you want access to both sides of the lake, and if you want a very nice, prestigious, luxury price point neighborhood, then Mercer Island is where you're going to want to take a look. So Mercer Island, of course, was originally inhabited by the Duwamish tribe, which lived in this area, and it was started to be developed in 1860s. Washington became a state in around 1889, and one of our founding fathers here in the Puget Sound area was named Thomas Mercer, and it was he who the island was named after. There's also a Mercer Street in downtown Seattle, so it's a very popular name. This has evolved into a thriving community with a population of 24,000, and it certainly still respects its wilderness areas. There are huge trees and old growth evergreens and that type of a thing, but it's in between those trees are some very nice homes, many of which are waterfront with views of either Bellevue or Seattle. And those certainly command a premium price. Homes in this area tend to start price point around $2 million and move up to 10 or 15 million. You can get a condominium for a little bit less, maybe 750,000 is kind of the average for condominium pricing here on the island. There are apartments as well, but most of the housing in the area is dedicated to high-end luxury homes. So let's talk a little bit about the schools. According to websites like niche.com and greatschools.com, the Mercer Island schools rank an A+, very good. But some people have mentioned in the reviews and that type of a thing that they were disappointed in the schools because, especially post-COVID, some of the changes in the math curriculum were not to their liking. and especially with regards to not training the teachers on how to teach the new curriculum to the kids. So this may be something that corrects over time, but it's a good thing to be aware of. Also, a reviewer mentioned that the highest paid employee at the school was the band director. So it sounds like they are very music intensive over there with, if your kiddo is in band or interested in playing a musical instrument, sounds like they will do very well and have a lot of opportunities here. But because it's a smaller school district, there may not be equal funding for all different types of opportunities. So depending on what your kids end up being interested in, it might be good to look at the programs on a case-by-case basis. There are certainly private schools in the area to look at as well. If you have younger kids, there are Montessori schools. There is a country day school, and there's also, interestingly, a French school. So I was here on the island last year for one of my kids' track meets, and they just go to a small Christian school in Bothell. And we were at the track meet here it's a small league, right, with other private schools, and chatting with some of the other parents. And it turned out that one of them was actually one of the French schools, that one of the parents, her kid was from this French school. And she talked with me about it. She actually was a native French speaker. And so that is a very unique opportunity. I don't think we have a lot of those French immersion type of schools in general, but if you have an interest in your kids learning a second language extremely proficiently, immersion schools are one of the best options, and they do have one here on Mercer Island. The schools are reputed to be excellent, but make sure that you do your research on a case-by-case basis so that if you are looking for something specific, that you know the school will deliver. A couple people said that they had moved to Mercer Island specifically for the schools and had been disappointed. So make sure that you do your research with that. So according to niche.com, about 2/3 of the island's population is homeowners, and the rest are presumably renters. They say that the median rent is about $2,000. However, as a separate data point, I decided to pull in the MLS data here, which shows rentals in the last 6 months. And not every rental is on the MLS, but this is a good sampling, especially of nicer rentals that people would choose to hire real estate to help them with. So on the low end here, we see we had a 1,700 for a 1-bedroom, 1-bath, 600 square foot option. And then we're going down to 12,000 a month rentals for more of an executive estate here. Obviously this is a beautiful home, and you would expect to pay a premium for a rental in this situation. So 2,000 square foot, 3-bedroom, Butterworth Road. And it looks like they had multiple offers because they ended up moving the rent from 11,000 a month to 12,000 a month. Maybe that was negotiated on the basis of some other terms of the lease. Also, another way to take a look at the market is on the MLS sales statistics. So if you're wanting to know what's going on sales-wise, take a look at the top line here. This black gray line is Mercer Island. And you can see that on average, the median price home here is higher, more expensive than both Bellevue and Seattle. So it's at 2.5 million, which is higher than indicated by niche.com. And these are actual sales within the last 6 months. So if we pop down and look at just condominiums, we could see that the median price condo was $450. And this typically includes condos and townhomes. And then if we look at residential, let's say a 3-bedroom house that's not new construction, we're going to be paying closer to 1.9 million for that on average. So that just gives you an idea of the scale and how this neighborhood compares in pricing to some of the others that you may be exploring. If we take a look at all homes currently for sale on Mercer Island, we can see that the results vary from 1.9 million on the low end to 33 million on the high end. So, there's always someone that wants to push the envelope, but you can see this is the $33 million property. It has an outdoor pool. It has a beautiful estate. It has a view of the lake and of Bellevue. It looks like they're very close, oh, maybe right on the water here. It has a dock. So this is kind of the top end of the Mercer Island real estate. Uh, Beautiful views, taking advantage of that with the disappearing wall here. So really nice. These are your neighbors in Mercer Island. You may or may not be in this price bracket, but these are some of the folks that live on the island and one of the reasons that it has its luxury reputation. And so kind of looking around, you can see where these homes are and how much they're priced at. Here's the 33 million one right on the northern tip. So they've got that view right into Bellevue. Here's another one right next to it. It's a steel, only 15 million, also right on the water and enjoying some beautiful views. Nice boats, nice neighbors, not huge acreages, still pretty close together. Alternative neighborhoods that offer a similar lifestyle to Mercer Island would include everything right here on this little knob pointing out from Bellevue. We've got Medina, which is where Bill Gates built his house, Yarrow Point, all on the water, and then Clyde Hill, which is a hill overlooking the water. Anything along the water everywhere is going to be premium. Madrona and Leschi over here, the Arboretum, Laurelhurst, Windermere over here, Broadview or Broadmoor, which is a gated neighborhood over here, and then Kirkland has some really lovely homes. So the two factors that are really raising the price are proximity to water and a short commute into downtown Seattle or downtown Bellevue. And Mercer Island just happens to offer both of those, which really makes it a premium address. Now, as you would expect, there are certainly a number of wonderful chain restaurants and family-owned restaurants on Mercer Island. They have Thai food, McDonald's, Subway, Teriyaki, Einstein Brothers Bagels, anything in between. There are some nice places, but for the most part, the premium restaurants are going to be located in Bellevue and Seattle, where they can draw from larger population bases a little bit more easily, which are needed to support those types of establishments. And sadly, I do not think they have a Chipotle on Mercer Island at the time of this writing. They do have a Qdoba, but we all know that's not really the same thing. When it comes to shopping and what there is to do there are these sort of low-rise shopping centers. One of them has Clark and Clark, Art and Artifacts, kind of a gallery here of local Northwest artists. There are also chocolate places. So this is great for kind of the traveler or luxury shopper who's coming in to see what's offered, or maybe who's having a special party. One of the most popular and famous places is Island Books, which is a bookstore that's been in operation there since 1973. It's one of the oldest independent bookstores in the Seattle area, and it's here on Mercer Island. So that's a great place to go and enjoy books, a little local flavor, and support a local business as well. If you're visiting Seattle or Mercer Island and want to get a little overview of some of the fun places to eat there, as well as seeing multiple locations, check out the Taste of Mercer Island food tour. It has about 5 to 7 stops. It takes 2 hours, and you can sample some of the local favorites like homemade chocolates, different kinds of pizza, macaroni and cheese, and so forth. It's a family-friendly activity, and it's a great way to put some boots on the ground and get to know the area while you're here in town. Oh, one other thing I wanted to tell you about Mercer Island, I'll tell you in a minute, but I just wanted to say, as you're watching this video, you may be deciding a couple of things. You may be thinking about whether or not Mercer Island is going to be a good fit for you, and you may be wondering about whether I, as a real estate agent, will be able to help you find the type of home that you're looking for. If those questions are forming and simmering in your mind, I encourage you to reach out to me for a one-on-one Zoom meeting. We can just have a quick phone consultation or do it over video, which is a little bit more fun. I'll walk you through the home buying process, as well as some of these neighborhood exploration plans. So whether you're coming in for the week or the weekend, you want to see what's available and make a decision, or whether you want to take a little bit more time and explore some of these neighborhoods, get to know them a little bit better. I'm here to support you in that. I'm kind of a real estate matchmaker. So I would love the opportunity to help you find your next home, whether or not it's on Mercer Island or anywhere else in the greater Seattle area. So please click the link, give me a call, let me know how I can help you. I am always here to support buyers who are relocating to the area, as well as those who are buying and selling within town. Now, the last thing I wanted to tell you is that you can have some baller parties on Mercer Island, especially in the summer when it is Seafair. So Seafair is a Seattle fair that happens each summer and it lasts for about a month. So there are all sorts of different activities, from the Torchlight Parade, which starts it out off. It has a 5K run. There are big, tall Navy ships that come into the harbor in downtown Seattle, and you can go aboard them, battleships, Coast Guard ships, all different types, so that it's a great outreach program that the Navy supports, and also hydroplane races. So I went to high school with a girl whose family had a business, and they sponsored hydroplanes. And we actually did our geometry project on hexagons, which are used in the formation of some of the materials that they use on those boats. So anyway, the geometry teacher loved it, by the way. He loved her. It was an A made in heaven right there. So anyway, back to the story, which was this Seafair thing. One of the things that the Navy does is bring in the Blue Angels. These are pilots who fly fighter jets, which are just amazing. They do very close formations where they zoom around. Sometimes they let out smoke. Sometimes they dive and do spins. It's just an amazing aerial show, and it takes place over Lake Washington. So if you have a home here on Lake Washington, you're going to have some great views of the Blue Angels, as well as fireworks in the summer and New Year's and all of that kind of thing. So really making the most of the water is an important thing to do when you live on Mercer Island. And the nice thing is when the show comes to you overhead, you don't even have to go anywhere in order to appreciate it. So I hope this gives you kind of a little taste, a little tidbit, a little temptation of coming over to Mercer Island, taking a look for some homes here and seeing if that is in fact the right fit for you. Many people who do not live in Mercer Island also live in Redmond, Woodinville, and on the east side, which is enjoying more popularity, although also more expensive right now in this day and age. So thanks so much for watching. Click on some of my other videos to explore some of these other neighborhoods that I've mentioned. And I look forward to getting a call, text, or email from you letting me know when you'd like to talk about your home relocation journey. Until next time, I'll see you on the next video.